Hi, my name is Ernest Hancock. I'm publisher of freedomsphoenix.com and talk show host for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock. A friend of mine in New York City who was Manhattan Party chairman of the Libertarian Party there for a long time, Jim Lazinski. He edits a newspaper called Serf City, S-E-R-F. Well, we had this idea for years. We had talked about it, and we decided a couple of months ago that we would go on May 10th, 2010. My wife and I would go, Donna. We went to New York, and we went to the top of the line, up in the Bronx, the beginning of one of the subway train lines that would go into Manhattan. We got on the trains as they were empty, about 5 o'clock in the morning before rush hour started, and we'd put newspapers on all the benches. We'd ride the train into the next station, get off, wait for the next train, put them on, go to the next station, and did that. By the time we even got to Manhattan, we were already done with a couple of thousand of the newspapers, and they were scooped up by everybody. Everybody wanted to have it, and for whatever reason, they wanted to entertain themselves, or they were familiar with the newspaper from before, or just curious what was going on. But it was an effective way of getting them distributed, and had I known it was going to be so popular, I would have put a lot more on each of the empty seats, because it was as many as we had, they wanted. So we just took suitcases and backpacks and went with us, and it went very quickly. After we distributed them, later that night, Monday, we had a meeting of the Manhattan Libertarian Party where I spoke and just talked about what we had done and my race for Libertarian National Chair, where we were joined by Wayne Allyn Root, wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to speak also.
I'm the editor of Serf City, the newspaper I think most of you have in front of you. It's also a blog that we published. We've been doing this paper for about 5 years now. But I'm not here to talk about Serf City. So we did have a really good distribution this morning. We handed out close to 5,000 copies of Serf City at a big distribution blitz, which was actually our guest speaker's idea. I first met Ernie Hancock. I virtually met him 10 years ago in 2000 during the Harry Brown campaign, and it's interesting. I had just gotten involved in the Libertarian Party, and I was getting the LP News, and I read this horrible story about how these terrible disloyal libertarians in Arizona had refused to put our candidate, Harry Brown, who motivated me to get into the party and get involved, and he refused to put Harry Brown on the ballot. And instead of putting Harry Brown on the ballot in Arizona, he put L. Neil Smith for president and Vince Prudowitz for vice president. And I was so outraged at these jerks in Arizona. I went on to their Yahoo group to give them a piece of my mind, and say, how dare you guys? Like, what's the matter with you? Why are you good libertarians? And well, they straightened me out pretty quick, and I got involved, and I heard their story about how there's a big schism there, and there's some of the Libertarian Party infighting that we like to do. But what I did find out, what I did learn from that, is that not only are the Arizona Libertarians good Libertarians, they're probably present company excluded, the best Libertarians you're going to find in the country. They're totally hardcore, totally principled, won't back down, no compromise, and they get attention and they get things done. And I think a big reason for that is Ernie Hancock. He's been, a lot of people, will refer to him informally as the head of the Arizona Libertarian Party, or the head of the Arizona Libertarians. One time I heard a talk radio show talking to Ernie. Oh, you're the head of the Libertarians. And Powell Gamble is an activist out there, called up and said, Ernie's not our head, he's just our mouth. Which I think is the case. But Ernie gets a lot of attention, and for good reason. He sued the state dozens of times in court, taking it all the way up the chain through the various courts of appeals, got laws changed, got Ernie laws enacted. Done civil disobedience, got arrested plenty of times. Hosts two radio shows now during on the internet and on the radio. Publishes Freedom's Phoenix. Any of you can check out freedomsphoenix.com. It's a great libertarian website, and it's just really a libertarian dynamo. Probably mostly, if you know anything about Ernie, with the last couple of years, you know him from the Ron Paul Revolution logo with the love stamp in the middle of it, and Ernie invented that, and so he's really got his hand in a lot of activism. He gets a lot of things done, and he's just what he really inspired me to do in my activism, which is like the really street level guerrilla activism that that gets attention. When I organized our Guns for Tots protests back in 2003. And we started to get a lot of attention, and then people started talking about, oh my gosh, the libertarians are going to give up toy guns in Harlem, and I started to get cold feet, and I called up Bernie and said, maybe we should back off from Harlem. Maybe we should just go give away the toy guns in Times Square. And Ernie's like, no. Harlem is exactly where you want to give away the toy guns. Not only is it exactly where not only are you not going to back off, you're going to go up there tomorrow and you're going to tell the news media that we purposely picked Harlem. And this is why, because the gun control affects black people disproportionately, and gun control is racist. And that is why we must be, libertarians have to be in Harlem making a stand. And it's that kind of principle that really it's motivated me a lot, and it's motivated a lot of other libertarians. And so Ernie's going to talk about grassroots activism tonight and getting people motivated and getting people excited. I'm excited, and so I give you Ernest Hancock.
Well, I'm going to bring my wine. To clear this up, so you guys understand where I'm coming from, Jim is just an example of uncounted number of libertarians over the past 20 plus years that I've come in touch with that were attracted by libertarianism because of its principles. Because I'll give you a good example. Donna and I were in Chicago. We fly in to Chicago to catch our flight to New York from Phoenix. That's our transfer. And we're sitting there, and there was a woman at the little food court that we had sat at. And she goes, are you guys going somewhere interesting? She wanted to spark up a conversation. Oh yeah, we're just going to New York. Oh, is it something fun or business? I mean, she just kept going on and on. All right, fine, she wants to talk. Well, the last thing you do is ask Ernie, well, Ernie, what do you do, So, Don and I started engaging her in conversation, letting her know that we're libertarian activists, we're coming to meet with you guys and so on. And she's like, well, tell me, what I hear about, what is a libertarian? So what do you say? And mean it. Be truthful, consistent. It's not something that's going to change. It's something that they're going to go to the next person that they hear that's libertarian, says, I'm a libertarian, and associate with them. The party, the candidates, the philosophy. What do you say? Think about it for a second. What's the one phrase, 20-second, 10-second bumper sticker you're going to give someone that is going to apply? So I just go, we just think the only role of government is to defend individual rights. Oh, okay, cool. Is that really the party? That's what we're trying to keep. That's the whole point. All right, can we close those doors? That'd probably help.
Yeah, we'll get it.
Thank you. The one thing that I want to make sure that you understand is that that's what attracted me. That's why I came into the Libertarian Party. The Libertarian Party, when I asked that exact same question of people I kept coming in touch with from 88 to 91 for 3 years, I was Republican, went independent, I'm out challenging all this stuff, I'm going up against the state. I knew that they were the bad guys. I knew it was election law that they were using to keep them in power by eliminating competition before it started. It was obvious to me that election law was set up to make sure that they didn't have competition. where whatever advantage they get for the two-party system. And this two-party system, where the heck is that written in the Constitution? Where'd that happen?